South Yorkshire becoming more and more like Southwest London, with Cork now bringing the contingent of ex-Wimbledon players in this side to 6. Alec Ferguson has taken into account the energy and the emotion expended on Wednesday and has rested Ryan Giggs and relegated Neil Webb to substitute. Michael Phelan is in from the start for the first time since New Year's Day, and Andrei Kanchelskis returns on the right. Mick Bailey from Cambridgeshire is today's referee. Manchester United supporters becoming a little superstitious about Sheffield. Alec Ferguson's team were beaten in this fixture last season, and of course their only away defeat this season across the city at Hillsborough. Cork, and it was knocked forward by Paul Rogers. But Sheffield United still have their chests puffed out in pride. That splendid showing in the Sheffield derby. And they really were worthy winners at Sheffield Wednesday. Pallister. Here's Bruce. They've got width as they look to build up. They've got congestion in midfield. But the marking by Dave Bassett's team at the moment is uniform and tight. Ince, who is being asked at this stage of the season to adopt many roles by Alec Ferguson. He does prefer the one he's got today in the middle of midfield. It's a measured approach by Manchester United here. And they kept the ball but hardly got into Sheffield territory. Parker under pressure from Cork. It's a strange one across the pitch, which Bradshaw competed for. Robson trying to restore some order. Here's Phelan. Another indication of the depth of resources that Manchester United have to bring in the likes of Phelan and Kanchelskis. And Gage rather unwisely challenging Sharp then. Lee Sharp wears number 10 because Mark Hughes is still suspended, the second game of a two-match ban. Well, the referee certainly could have given a free kick then, but chose not to. Bradshaw guided it on well. McClair with a very deft touch. And Pallister finding room for a back pass. What reaction will there be from the two sides from their battles 3 days ago? Particularly Manchester United, who had 2 hours against Middlesbrough in a superlative semi-final in the Rumbelows League Cup, but on a pitch much more sticky than this one, and this is sticky enough. Robson already his shirt marked by the mud. McClair. Raiding down the right is Parker. Sharp coming in, and it's flown wide. Just. Well, the freshness of Lee Sharp, such a bonus for Manchester United at this stage of a very busy season. He scored on Wednesday, and he very nearly scored here. Kevin Gage just stayed close enough to him. Good ball by Parker. Brian Deane had taken up a good position here for Sheffield United. Bradshaw going through the centre. The block was by Bruce. And the free kick was a formality. Cork! Well, the threat at set plays will have been well documented by Alec Ferguson, but the players not reacting here to some sharp movement by Sheffield United. Flicked on by Sharp. Gage getting it back. Tracy just caught in two minds at the end, but not caught in possession by McClair. Here's Beasley. That was rather ambitious. Sharp. McClair. A lot of movement again from Manchester United when they are in possession. Ince in support of Robson. Irwin on the left. Here's Irwin. Sharp trying to find a path around the outside, and the outcome is a corner. Well, Manchester United's defence has missed Steve Bruce, but they've also missed him in these situations as well, where his head work is so brave. He's come forward with Pallister. Bruce trying to get free. Robson in there as well, and that was Robson who very nearly got the reward for the friskiness of his running. It certainly wasn't static in the centre, and Robson got in first and had moved well to achieve that, but couldn't round it off. What is happening when Sheffield United get the ball forward? It's very clear already that they're isolating 2-on-2 with Deane and Cork occupying Bruce and Pallister, and not too much cover around. But for the most part, so far, Manchester United have been able to control the tempo of the match in midfield with their extra numbers in that department. Gannon. Here is Deane, able to turn and perhaps take on Pallister. Ince recognising the need to help out quickly. Here's Gannon. It's a cross from Brian Deane that certainly interested Alan Cork. Gage, and he was held off the ball unfairly by Lee Sharp. Well, Brian Gale is often the key man at set plays for Sheffield United. He's gone away on the far side, making a movement across the edge of the area now. And he's got to it as well. Well, the captain, having made a movement similar to Robson's at the other end to get away from markers who really weren't doing their job, and that could have been much more productive for Sheffield United than it turned out to be. Schmeichel in danger now of infringing the rule about steps. That's why the crowd were calling for the referee to look back at the incident. Deane. Bradshaw's got into the middle with Cork. Came off the head of Phelan. And Barnes cross, and then Gannon was a bit late. The linesman is flagging. And Parker was unfairly bumped by John Gannon. 25 minutes to go to half-time. The two clubs 25 points apart in the First Division, but you wouldn't notice that on the way the game has begun. What you would have noticed is the difference in method here. McClair trying to broaden the play. And what he will realise is that there are runners either side of him in wide positions. Kanchelskis on the right, Sharp on the left. But he didn't. It zipped on past him. Cork played his part by just nudging Bruce. The ball bounced on behind them. No nonsense, no waiting from Brian Deane. Sheffield United 1, Manchester United 0. It's 13 now for the season from Brian Deane. Pallister. Good running by Sharp. Can he get in front of Gage? He has done. Play on. We all looked at the referee then. But Kevin Gage had a major problem in this incident through the turbocharged acceleration of Sharp. We'll reflect on that in a moment because it's Cork who's not quite as quick as Sharp, but he's away in a promising position and it's a corner. Bradshaw has gone across to take it. Cork making his way towards the near post. Gale coming in, it's over Gale, it's over Rogers. It won't quite run out, will it? No, it didn't, because Gale chased it right to the line. Well, Sharp will perhaps like to study this. He got in front of Gage. In the end, the goalkeeper came out while Sharp and Gage were concentrating on dealing with the bounce of the ball. Ince. Sharp heading off through the middle again and leaving space this time that Ince fills with the ball. Oh, and Gannon couldn't control it. Well saved by Tracy from McClair, who is so alive in those situations when others stop and wonder. But the admiration there for McClair in reaching the ball and for Tracy in stopping it, zipping into the Sheffield United net. Owen's corner. Sheffield United can breathe again. It was Robson, who they aren't tracking down at dead ball situations. And he came through the pack. Rogers is backing into Phelan. It's almost a twin of Peter Schmeichel, Paul Rogers. As far as I know, a Scandinavian connection. Robson allowed to turn. I don't think there'll be problems here for Sheffield United. It very nearly was. And Chelskis coming in from his flank, like Sharp has been doing from the left. Cork chasing, he'll get to it. No, Schmeichel knocks it down for Deane. Oh, did the goalkeeper handle? If he did, Peter Schmeichel is in serious trouble. Well, the referee has done the first part by giving the free kick. Is he going to take the letter of the law here? Schmeichel just got there before Cork. Well, if it was a hand, there's going to be no standing off, that's clear. Sheffield United have a free kick, but they will continue to face 11 men. There was some doubt about that for a second. This is Hodges over the ball, and Bruce came out too quickly. Bradshaw, it's wide. Well, the booing is for the referee, who certainly had the option in awarding this free kick of dealing severely with Peter Schmeichel, but he chose not to. And then Bradshaw, well, he banged the free kick inches past that right-hand post as we look from that angle on the replay. And the gossip around the ground, certainly on the subject of Schmeichel at the moment. Pallister. Robson, Ince taking up a good position until he moved offside, although the referee was a little slow to blow. The linesman wasn't slow to react. Well, when Brian Deane hit this, if that is a deliberate handball, he is preventing a goal being scored outside his area. And the way the law is these days, Nick Bailey, well, his decision is final. Now Cork. Oh, he's done wonderfully well against Bruce. Deane's there! And he didn't hit it quite as crisply as he would have wanted. But Alan Cork fought for possession against Bruce, picked himself up the quicker, saw where Deane was, picked him out, but Deane rather allowed Schmeichel to make that save. It's a corner. And pushing at the far post by Gale. It is half-time. The one goal after 21 minutes. Brian Deane, born in Leeds, putting Manchester United a goal down. The other major talking point, Peter Schmeichel handling from Deane's shot outside his area, but not being sent off. Schmeichel saving in the closing seconds from Deane as well. At half-time at Bramall Lane, Sheffield United 1, Manchester United 0. Let me start the second half by reminding you that Manchester United have lost in the league at Sheffield Wednesday. That was late in October, and at home to Queen's Park Rangers. They've got 45 minutes here to try to ensure that a third defeat isn't on the horizon. Here's Parker. Kanchelskis will get there ahead of Barnes, who was hoping that the ball would run out of play. It's not an easy afternoon on which to predict the weather, but one would expect the elements to favour Manchester United in the second half. That's Ince. It's a brave header by Barnes, back from Parker, and Sheffield United, who pride themselves on their ability to push out quickly in those situations, have done it just quickly enough that time. Sheffield United are going to make a change, but it's John Pemberton who's getting ready. Parker. Pemberton, who can play at right back, that's his predominant position, but can also operate in the centre of defence. Oh, and Gage was very lucky in a situation where he might have chosen to use his left foot. He favoured the right. It was too awkward to make proper contact, and they got away without conceding a goal, but they have ended up with a damaged goalkeeper. It is the number 2 board that's out. John Pemberton, who played against Manchester United for Crystal Palace in the FA Cup final almost 2 years ago now. They're delaying on the substitution, just out of concern for Tracy. Well, Sharp was entitled to go for that, and it all ended in a heap, in a painful heap. So Pemberton is on, and Gage has gone off. Well, they've had plenty to cheer about, and at the moment their support is needed in an unusual situation, or relatively unusual in this very successful season for Alex Ferguson. Ince. Robson. Allowed to go on. Offside. Brian McClair is offside. But if they're going to surrender possession there, Sheffield United, they're certain to surrender the initiative. And at a time where their goalkeeper was shaken, might have expected the outfield players to have wanted to have got to the ball a little earlier. And they didn't get to it at all. It was the linesman that took the danger out of the situation. Cork. Deane reacting quickly again. Kept in by Bradshaw. It's Cork! That would have made his day. And possibly flattened Manchester United's. It was, by Alan Cork standards, a very good opportunity. He's been regularly in the Wimbledon side recently. You might recall that there's been trouble over his transfer. Wimbledon in the end wanted to keep him after earlier they'd given him his freedom, it seemed. And there were complications. He's got a contract to the end of next season with Sheffield United. Robson. McClair. Hodges came on his blind side. Here's Parker. This is the challenge now for Manchester United. They're not short of possession in midfield. Will they be able to make it count in a critical First Division game? Deane may be about to come out of the game. He's off the pitch, and Bobby Davison is getting ready. Phelan. Here's Robson. Now Ince. Robson's gone for the return. He's still making the runs at the age of 35, not quite so often. Ince. Sheffield United unsettled by the one substitution and maybe a second about to take place. They're playing with 10 men at the moment. That will soon be put right. But not until at least when the ball goes dead the next time. Robson. They're showing him a bit too much respect at the moment. Tracy's stranded. And Kanchelskis has got the ball. Tracy's so far out of position. And he was helped out by John Pemberton with a fantastic header. It seemed that the equaliser was there for the taking. And Pemberton still getting attuned to the pace of the game with a valiant piece of rescuing. On comes Davison. Well, he was expected to be used in the second half, but not in this particular way. It's sad for Sheffield United that they've lost Brian Deane. Corner for Manchester United. Davison. Ince having to use the full width of the pitch. He's got a throw. Phelan wanting to take it quickly. It's good play from him. Robson's cross. Kanchelskis is there. There's no way out for Sheffield United at the moment. But now it might break for them. And John Pemberton, who certainly can run. And he looks for the guy he's been sitting next to on the bench for much of the afternoon. Well, they've got Davison and Cork now. Two old gunslingers. They need the two up front to try and buy them some time at the moment, because Sheffield United are having to sit back on the edge of their own penalty area. And they had a real scare when the goalkeeper gambled and was caught way, way from home. This is Bruce. deciding he was too far out to try a shot of his own. Ince, is there a way through? Owen, and Bruce is in there. Kanchelskis, can he set himself? He does, but it wasn't an easy ball to hit, and Brian Robson was in fact alongside him, and maybe better placed if Kanchelskis had knocked the ball down. But Kanchelskis had eyes for goal and for glory, but Tracy was in trouble a minute or two earlier, and it was Kanchelskis who was too speedy for him. But John Pemberton here got just what Sheffield United needed, a head to the ball first. That was a fortunate escape. The shape of the game over the last 10 minutes, where Sheffield United have undoubtedly been struggling. United would feel that that was in an offside position. The ball actually came off Rodgers, and maybe that was the reason that the referee allowed the goal that McClair was played on. It's 1-1, and Brian McClair, with his 21st goal of the season, has given Manchester United what their supporters would feel is due reward. They've stepped it up in the second half. Cork. Here's Davison. Hodges, Davison joining Cork in the middle. And Hodges can do better than that, usually does. Bobby Davison has been very much on the fringe of things with Leeds this season. He had a great spell on loan at Derby in the early months of the season, 8 goals in 10 games. He's 2 in 1 game for Sheffield United before today, and maybe he'll get a chance if he can get up from the free kick after Bruce came through from behind in a damaging way, obviously to himself as well as his opponent. Well, it's a free kick right on the corner of the penalty area. Bradshaw with the right foot would be more likely to have a shot. Maybe Hodges will clip it across. Oh, and it's Davison who knocks it away from Cork. There was no offside. Gale can whip it back here, perhaps. Just took too long in considering it. Well, Davison, like the instinctive goal-getter that he is, went for the ball. If Cork had been able to shout him out of the way, he would have had time to bring the ball down and shoot. Something of a second win for Sheffield United. Bradshaw. Pemberton earning a throw. So the substitute with Manchester United connections. And he finds the head of Gary Pallister. Rodgers. Will it drop here? When it drops, if it drops, it's sharp. He'll leave them. He's certainly got the speed, but not the finish. It was a situation tailor-made for Lee Sharp. Sheffield United in his wake. Out came Tracy. The ball sped past him, but sped past the post as well. Rodgers. A free kick to Manchester United. Well, Steve Bruce is the kind of character that you would normally have to put a rope round and drag off the pitch. But I think the grimace there tells the story that he's either feeling the effects of an injury, perhaps the legacy of his recent operation, perhaps simply the fatigue of what he's been through over the last 3 days. So Parker's gone into the centre of defence. Phelan has gone to right back, and Blackmore's gone into midfield. All jobs that they can do really without a second's extra thought. McClair's still fit enough, isn't it? A bit of hurdling, as well as all the work that he's put into the game. He is a most unspectacular player, Brian McClair, but totally appreciated by his teammates. And when opportunities come his way, he's ruthless, as he's shown this afternoon. McClair involved again. Dropped behind Ince to Barnes. Cork trying to get it down here. That caused Manchester United a heart flutter. All that was going on while Sheffield United were lacking the services of Gannon, who'd gone down hurt as 33-year-old Alan Cork tussled with 35-year-old Brian Robson. And the outcome is a Sheffield United corner once Gannon is back on his feet. Well, at this stage of the afternoon, the managers are thinking only about the outcome of the match, but they might reflect the demands on their playing staff, which aren't going to be lessened next season with the new organisation, which seems set to come in August, although the Players' Union meet the representatives of the new Premier League on Monday in a crucial meeting. Hodges. Oh, and it forced Schmeichel into the save by the near post. Cork reacting to the rebound, and it's another corner. That's a move that Sheffield United do quite often, getting 2-on-1 out at the short corner and letting Hodges come in. And his aim was excellent, but so too was Schmeichel's concentration. Back from Barnes. Here's Rodgers. Hodges. There's no offside. Bradshaw. Still Bradshaw. Oh, and the referee, who was only a few yards away and saw exactly what happened, pointed for a corner. Across went Gary Pallister, and there wasn't any contact at all. Bradshaw was trying to deceive the referee, and he didn't get away with it. Gannon, that's too close to the goalkeeper. It's come straight from the goalkeeper via McClair, and Blackmore into the back of Tracy's net. With 8 minutes to go, Peter Schmeichel will claim an assist. Sheffield United 1, Manchester United 2. So Peter Schmeichel, who reacted so quickly, Brian McClair, who equalised earlier, and now serves up the second for Clayton Blackmore, only just on. And showing one major quality: if you're going to try and win the championship, you have to have the right number of players to go the distance in this marathon. And Blackmore would be in anyone else's starting lineup, one would think, in the First Division. He's fired up. Dave Bassett concentrating on what's happening off the ball for Sheffield United, trying to get players forward if they can get it upfield quickly. Hodges, he was impeded. It needed Manchester United to show a real stomach for the fight in the second half, and they will have pleased Alex Ferguson as long as they survive the time that's left. Rodgers. Now Bradshaw. One thing about Sheffield United, they do get bodies into the middle, whatever the circumstances. This is Gannon, a difficult ball to hit. Schmeichel making absolutely sure that it didn't cross the line, even if his own feet did. Chelsea's got his head to it. McClair. This might end all the doubts. Not if McClair. He hasn't made too many mistakes. Gets the ball away like that. Phelan for Ince. Now Robson. For Phelan. Well, the middle of the pitch, such an important area in the second half, where Sheffield United found themselves outnumbered too many times. And Robson and Ince and Phelan were dominant factors, and ahead of them, Manchester United found their cutting edge. It's stoppage time now. The loss of Brian Deane, very disappointing for Sheffield United, as the second half has taken on a dismal perspective for them. At this stage, and Schmeichel has given it to Cork. And they look skywards and offer up prayers of thanks to the Manchester United management. When you look back at incidents over a long championship season, there are times when the fortune goes with you, and it's certainly one of them then. The goalkeeper, who played such a major role in United leading here by his saves and by his ability to set up the attack that led to the second goal, nearly saw that goal wiped out by kicking it straight to Cork, who got it under control, took the shot early, but not accurately. Brian McClair just wondering what's left on the watch, and wondering what time he's going to get home tonight. But when they do get home, they'll be able to raise a glass in celebration, Manchester United. Sharp and Blackmore. It's a very satisfying outcome for Alex Ferguson and Manchester United at the expense of Sheffield United. It all happened for them in the second half. Clayton Blackmore with what turned out to be the winning goal after his arrival as a substitute. Brian McClair, yet again, came up with an important contribution in a time of need for Manchester United. All this after a first half when Sheffield United showed their paces, showed the spring in their step from their midweek success here against Sheffield Wednesday on Wednesday night at Hillsborough, and led through Brian Deane. Sheffield United still in the fight to stay in the division. But what a marvellous few days it has been for Manchester United. That semi-final success in sapping circumstances only 3 days ago. And they've been proficient and professional and proud enough in the end to bag all 3 points here at Bramall Lane.
Very difficult afternoon for you, wasn't it?
Well, it was a marvellous afternoon for us. We've won 2-1, we've come from 1 goal down.
a team like Sheffield United are very, very difficult to play against in their own ground. I don't think it was anything else than what we expected. A very hard game, and we've come out on top, and a wonderful result for us.
Well, I thought we well deserved a draw today, and it shows that football's a cruel game on occasions. Perhaps it illustrates the United are at the top and we're at the bottom. You know, we did very well, and we weathered the storm, and we were coming back into the game, and we got caught on a break, which United are very, very good. When you're attacking them at free kicks and corners, they're very, very quick on the break, and they got out and they scored the goal, and we had a great chance with Alan Cork at the end. But overall, we had some great chances, and I felt that we probably had better chances than they did. It could have been 4-2 to us at half-time.
There was the incident, Alan Cork came into the penalty area, you came out of the penalty area, Brian Deane had a shot, and it looked to us that you handled the ball, a free kick was given.
Well, that's many ways to handle the ball. I didn't do it on purpose. I had my arms on my body, and he shut up my bodies. And in my opinion, that's not a free kick. I shouldn't have been a free kick, and if it was a free kick, he should have sent me off, and he didn't.
When it happened, did for a second you think that you were going to be sent off?
I thought I would be, yeah, because that's a new rule. So, but obviously he didn't know that rule.
The players are down, they're disappointed. I feel sorry for them, but I'm not annoyed with them. You know, they've done very, very well, and it shows the strides that we've made since we played Manchester United in the quarter-finals here 3 years ago. We're a much better team. They know they've been in a battle, and they're fortunate to be going home.
They've got the bit between the teeth again, our players. We had a bad January and February compared with the rest of the season, which always comes. You're going to have hiccups. I think hopefully we've weathered that. I'm sure we've weathered that, and they're playing with great confidence again.